Bang the gavel. Call the meeting to order. And to start, we need a motion to approve the minutes of the prior committee meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. To start, we have a few action items to go through. We have 9 in total. I will now hand it off to Jeff Tennyson.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, we'd like to start with the Parks and Rec portion.
That's what I meant.
Just follow our agenda.
Very good.
And first up, we have from Saratoga North Creek, we have Justin Gagnon here to give an update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Understand you've had a long afternoon. I'll try not to take up too much more of your time. I'll start right off with the biggest item to talk about. Over the past few weeks, I've been in discussions with Mr. Ellis and Mr. McConville regarding the operating schedule for 2017 for the Saratoga North Creek Railway. The decision has been made on the corporate level, understanding that it will require approval from the county since it's not in step with the contract. The decision was made to operate weekends only for 2017. S&C understands that we are important to the region. We understand why the railroad, pardon me, we understand why the railroad was resurrected and started many years ago. We understand that it was a major undertaking for the county and that it was supposed to be an economic driver for the area. We are still happy to be part of that, and we want to continue to be part of that. The realization is that S&C cost revenue has to be more in line, or S&C costs have to be more in line with S&C revenue. On some of our other railroads, we have taken a look at ridership patterns, when ridership patterns are the heaviest. Probably not to any surprise to anyone here, we all know the tourism in the area. Weekends are heavier than through the midweek. So this is why we arrived at the decision that we arrived at. As far as being a fixture in the region, S&C provides jobs for the employees that work here, good paying jobs, including my own. We provide revenue to local businesses for goods and services purchased, as well as revenue provided by our passengers that spend money at local shops, local events, and we also provide revenue to Warren County through our ticket sales and through the lease of the line itself. We want to continue to do that. We want to continue to be a good business partner with Warren County. We want to be able to be a good corporate citizen within Warren County. It goes much further than just the trains that we operate. This weekend, for instance, we operated the Hadley Maple and April Festival. The proceeds that we receive, a portion of the proceeds that we receive from ticket sales will go back to the Hadley Business Alliance so that they are able to continue to provide scholarships to the Luzerne School District. Each year we give approximately $10,000 to the North Creek Business Alliance for operation of their shuttle. Some of that money falls over into times when the train is not operating, such as in the late fall and early winter, so that they can continue to provide a service to North Creek. We've done many station upgrades at Hadley and Thurman. And I'm highlighting all of this not to give ourselves a pat on the back, but I just want you all to keep in mind that we are in this for the long haul. But we also have to be realistic with our business decisions. So we're choosing to look at this as an experimental schedule. We're not choosing to look at this as a long-term fix. We are still sourcing freight opportunities for the line. Had a conversation with Mr. Garrity last week. He asked me flat out, are we going to get freight on the line? I said about a few years ago, we were having meetings down in Manhattan with a large firm. They wanted to haul 1 million tons annually of stone from to Hawes. Some of you may remember that some of those updates that I used to give. We literally came that close from having that contract signed. The prospective customer chose instead to haul material from Nova Scotia by barge. Customers that big don't come along every day. I've said before in these public meetings, and I will say it again, there is a commercial need for the stone up at Hawes. Iowa Pacific believes the same thing. We spent some $2 million to acquire the line north of North Creek specifically for that purpose. That's really about all I have to say. But the proposal before you right now is for S&C to operate weekends only.
Chairman Conover?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, given the lateness, I'm afraid I'm obliged to have to say that I think I would make a motion that we go into executive session to discuss a contractual matter and matters dealing with possible negotiations dealing with contractual matters. I believe that's the basis for an executive session. I'll defer on this to our...
Yeah, negotiations or other discussions regarding a current or prospective contract, specific business entity are allowed in an executive session. We would need 6 votes because it would need to be a majority of the full committee, so you need everyone to vote in the affirmative for the executive session.
So I have
that motion.
Do I have a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
We go into executive session. Which brings us to our next action item on the agenda. Tim Benway?
Yeah, the first, I have a resolution from Backfill Enterprises. They've just recently purchased the former Glens Falls business property adjacent to their ice cream store. It used to be a lease by Glens Falls business. They want to take it over. They currently have 2 leases with the county. Yeah.
Motion to bring it to the floor. Supervisor Gerard. Supervisor Frazier. Any discussion? Call the question. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. What?
Never mind.
Am I doing wrong? That brings us to discussions. Tim?
Okay, the next item I have for you is spring stocking update. Right now our permit is complete except for the Schroon River. We're waiting for the waters to recede. We're just under flood stage right now, and also the 2 kids fishing derby, one in Crandall Park and one at Mill Pond.
Very good. And we have a update on the 2nd annual Spring Zing.
Yep, Jeff Hingley.
Jeff Hingley?
Jeff Hingley, yep, correct.
Yes, the 2nd annual Spring Zing is going to be occurring Saturday, May 13th, 2 weekends from now. It's for anyone who's not familiar with it, it's a great way for us to be able to draw in the public and give them a very hands-on and interactive approach and let them see what we do and how we operate. And it also incorporates a lot of local organizations and businesses as well, exposing the public to what they do and their goals and such. This is a copy of the poster that's been out in advertising. Switch to the... once people come in, they'll be able to register for our event. At that point in time, they will be getting this brochure. Lists exactly what organization is on there and a timeline of all of our activities. We will be doing raffles for gear. We'll be providing lunch for people. Our hatchery staff will be actually conducting stocking demonstrations. And we have a bunch of all-day events which will include hatchery tours, casting and fly casting instruction, manned fishing stations where people can actually utilize our what we call our handicap pond. They can go out and fish under supervision. We have some fly tying instruction, some stream entomology provided by Up Yonder Farm, stream erosion provided by Warren County Soil and Water, aquatic invasive species education provided to us by Lake George Association, boating safety. Warren County Sheriff's Office will be bringing a boat up and they will be speaking to the public regarding boating safety. DEC law enforcement will be there regarding environmental conservation laws, rules, and regulations, and we'll be doing a lure strike demonstration. And a lot of the companies will be doing fishing equipment setup and education. So again, that was our daily events. Our sponsorships, people that are coming include Cornell Cooperative Extension, and they will be providing fishing education. Trout Unlimited, they will be doing the fly fishing and fly tying instruction and education. Fish 307 will be there. The Crossroads, Up Yonder Farm, Lake George Association, Warren County Soil and Water. Warren County Tourism has been a big part of helping us advertise and posters and such for us. Warren County Conservation Council, they're going to be new to this year. They'll be there explaining their goals and try to get some recruitment into their organization, into their council. Let's see. Sponsors, what we did last year is we provided gift bags and the raffle items, all of those of which were donated from the sport shops. They have agreed to doing that again, so Fish 307 will be donating the gift bag items and the spinning reel and combo, as well as the Crossroads and Nemec Sport Shop. The Warren County Conservation Council has been gracious enough to donate 25 gift certificates, or 8 $25 gift certificates, I'm sorry. And Stewart's has donated 150 single scoop ice cream. And this is a few pictures of our program last year, and it's a very hands-on program. Everyone had a lot of fun, everyone learned a lot. That's about it. Does anyone have any questions regarding it?
Jeff?
Just to remind the committee, last year we had 500 participants and 200 of which were children.
407.
Okay.
That's a pretty big trout.
We feed them good.
I guess you do. That's not like a skipper, that's
No.
that's a good trout.
Sounds like a
Well,
great
that little
event.
child was probably her first trout, and she'll never forget it.
Oh, right. It's great.
Very good, very exciting. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Now, moving on to Public Works. Before we get started with that, I do have an update on the railroad from County Attorney Mike Abbott.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I spoke to Justin about the past due issue, and he is not aware of it. He believes they're up to date. He's going to confirm with Mr. Ellis, and he'll get back to me promptly. So I'll update the chairman and the county administrator. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, moving on, some action business. First resolution, Jim Lieberman.
All right, so most of you know me. I'm Jim Lieberman from Warren County Soil and Water Conservation District, and this is the time of year when the county's MS4 Annual Report is put together and will be publicly noticed, and that's what I'm here today for. The report will be available at our website and at the county's website. If you're not familiar with it, it's a municipal separate storm sewer system. And this is the report. Copy of it is right here. It is based on the MS4 program. This is your program plan. So there's several documents that have been available for the past years at the websites and a hard copy at our office and at DPW, and I believe last year was at the clerk's office, but we'll make sure it's there, so there's a copy down here. It's open for public comments. There's goals assigned to it, and it's basically reporting on these goals. A few items that I have here, if anybody would like to take them. Working with one of the administrative staff at the DPW, we talked about the Adopt a Highway program. We put together a new flyer, and it's now at the county website to kind of encourage more people, individuals, and communities to do an Adopt a Highway, because that counts as one of your goals towards the minimum control measure. And I have a map of the MS4 area in the Lake George section and in the Queensbury section. It's not across the entire county. It's based on populations, and it's set by New York State. So I'll leave these with you. And then a kind of a request. So going forward, there's a few items which the county could use some assistance on, and it mainly has to do with public participation. We all know that it's tough sometimes to get people going out and volunteering, but some of the requirements are in here. One is the Adopt a Highway. I think that'll be fine. Second, last year, the last 5 years, we've been, I think, responsible for putting together a stream cleanup. We do it with the town of Queensbury. And last year, we put a flyer out, goes on social media, goes to the websites, goes into the paper. We had about 14 or 15 people last year, which was outstanding. But unfortunately, that's more than the previous 4 or 5 years put together. And it's really for public education, outreach, and participation. So if there's some other way, if you know any groups or organizations that'd be interested, and I could send it specifically to them, that'd be great. Storm drain marking program. Some of you probably have seen these. The little metal discs. It says, no dumping drains to lake, drains to stream. One of the other requirements, again, for public education is putting these down on drop inlets. Again, if we get 2 volunteers, that's a lot, and it's no shortage of getting the word out there. Some of it has to do because we want to make sure that they're put on the roads that we don't endanger the public, so they're on secondary roads. And the requirement for the county is only to put 10 of these down a year. So we try to make it one day. So if anybody's interested, they don't have to live in Queensbury, they don't have to live in Lake George, they could live anywhere in the county. And Edna, come on down from Hague and feel free to put one down. Public meetings. This past year we held 2 public meetings on the stormwater management plans. It was combined Warren County and town of Queensbury. Again, the word gets out there. It goes in the newspaper, social media, our website, and the county website, and the town website. And like most meetings, you get 2 or 3 people attending at best. So that's not something the EPA or the DEC wants to see. They want to see a growth in it, and it's awfully tough, as we all know, to get public involvement sometimes. So we'll keep trying. And lastly, I guess I'll leave. Are you going to announce the household hazardous waste? Okay, so just so you know, your household hazardous waste program gets reported on this, and it looks really good. So I encourage you to keep it up. If you have any questions, let me know on the plan or the program itself. I believe that the public comment period was going to go until the 17th of May, and if you've been around, you know it will be closed on, I think the 19th is the Board of Supervisors meeting, and I'll put together the final copy, and chairman you'll need to approve it, and chairman sign off on it, and we'll submit it to the DEC on the county's behalf. If you have any questions, please let me know, but I'll leave the maps and Adopt a Highway right here. These are available at the websites as well.
Thank you, Jim. Now I need a motion to bring it to the floor. Is that an action item? No? I'm just kidding, guys. Jeff, you have a few resolutions?
The next item is on page 2. This is for a new contract for wood waste reduction services. This is a bid we put out that the towns can piggyback on. This would be for stump grinding, essentially. You'll see the on page 3, the bid tab. Essentially, there is a mobilization charge by whatever town they're being set up in, and then a per-day grinding operation. So this would be for the county to use and any of the subordinate or the smaller municipalities.
I'd like to move items 2, 4, and 6, Mr. Chairman. They're all new contracts. So we have, all in favor?
Aye.
Resolutions 2, 4, and 6 have passed.
Okay, on page 8 is create new road project. This is a new road project that we're creating due to some additional funds that the state provided as part of the extreme weather recovery portion. It's similar to CHIPS. It's just an add-on to a similar CHIPS program. And we're recommending that a new project be established for the Warrensburg Road for $180,000. And then you'll see we've got another resolution on the next one of where to put the remainder of that portion. On page 9 is a similar resolution to move some of that money into a contracts code for...
Move 8, 9. Yep, do it. And we have a second. All in favor?
Aye. And on page 10 is that reference letter that if you're running a town, you've gotten something similar for your portions of that state aid.
Jeff, I have a comment about 12 when you get there.
Okay. I'm on page 12. So appropriate road fund balance. This is a request to move $10,000 out of our road fund balance in order to pay a deductible on a settle or a final.
Yeah, it was not a settlement. It was a jury verdict modified by Judge Mueller. So there was a Supreme Court case. Jury found, I think the jury awarded $400,000. Judge Mueller reduced it to $350,000, and our share is $10,000 of the insurance proceeds.
I'll move it.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
On page 14 is a request to transfer remaining funds out of various road projects and transfer them into D5110.470. That's our operational contract code.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
On page 15 is a request to authorize an intent to backfill. This is for a motor equipment operator light position in our highway division. This position could result in vacancies being created due to promotion, or even it could result in lateral moves from other divisions. So I'd like to request authorization to fill any vacancies due to promoting of other employees.
Need a resolution bringing to the floor?
Move it.
And a second? All.
I thought we were going to try to get away from filling light. This is Samuel White.
Yes.
I thought we were going to try to get away from that, Jeff. No? Did Ron talk
I
to
think
you about that?
He did, and I think we agreed that I'd be happy to sit down and review that, and I've talked some with Chairman Simpson as well about the structure of the DPW, the pros and cons of any moves like that. So we haven't had that meeting as yet.
I want to be included.
All in favor?
Aye.
This is just for this one position.
Correct.
And, yeah, Jeff, I know we've already voted, but if you'll indulge me, I love I think the sooner we have that meeting to discuss this, the better. You agree? County Administrator Garrett?
Yeah.
I mean, I think we need to...
We need to get this going.
We need to get this thought through in terms of whether we want to continue with the kind of classifications we have, or whether we want to try to move to something different. Not necessarily going to cost less, but maybe the production might be better. I don't know. But this is something you need right away, Jeff?
Well, I have quite a few vacancies in the department, so sometimes it's just a matter of putting a body in a flag and controlling a work zone, which is probably one of the main roles of MEO lights, as long as, and using light equipment like skid steers and other things. So, yes, I have an immediate need as we're going into construction season.
Okay. Well, we already voted, right?
So moving on, no pending items, information for discussion.
I had talked some with the budget officer about the potential for the county to fund additional road projects as numbers are coming in. So this really is just a FYI of some of the other road projects that we see coming in the future. And, you know, I'll leave it up to the budget officer if it's something that we want to move on now, or if it's something that you want to peruse over and see if you want to pull any unappropriated fund balance and create some new road projects going forward.
Frank, would you like to comment on that?
I talked to Joe. I would like to.
Do you want to keep it on the pending items for next month?
No, I do think it's important that we put wherever we can.
Yeah, I think we have some bids coming in on some private bidding that we're doing, Jeff.
Yes.
And it may be that after we get those bids in, maybe Jeff, you and I and Kevin and Frank can sit down and with Matt Simpson to discuss maybe expanding the list beyond what we would normally think about doing this year. Maybe we do some with our own crews, and maybe we talk about what we might be able to transfer, maybe to do more road work than what we would normally think about doing. Or at least get it on deck so that it can take place later this fall or next year. You see what I'm saying? And I don't know how much yet. Well, I'm not sure about the dollar amount yet, but there's been some discussion about expanding your infrastructure budget, your highway budget.
Okay, next item.
Okay, next item on page 17, this is just a summary list from engineering on some of the bridge work that we're doing in-house. This is with our bridge crew that we create with existing personnel each summer. We pay one of our equipment operators at a higher level for the construction season, and we assign personnel as needed in order to conduct various repairs. The crew right now is wrapping up their sweeping and washing of bridges. That occurs on about 20 bridges, right, Kevin? About
Actually, we're down to only 6 left.
6 left, but we can't wash every bridge because of some of the conditions that they have with scaling paint and things. But we wash all of the bridges that we can each year, and then we transition into lighter structural repairs or deck repairs, and then we also have a bridge replacement plan later this year on Padam Road up in the town of Bolton. Next item I had on here for an update was just to give the committee an update on what assistance we're providing to OES in their Emergency Training Center water line and culvert. We had been asked back in January to assist them in hiring an engineer to put out a bid to install the water line. We told them was that we would assist them with our in-house engineers to develop a bid. We later found out that the town of Queensbury was looking to either donate or sell some existing water lines, and I know engineering's been working with the town to get particular fittings on that pipeline that they would want specified, and we're preparing that bid to go out for installation of that water line for the fire training center. Once that's complete, then we will be back in with DPW crews installing the culvert, which has been part of the roadway plan for a couple years now. It's gotten the approvals it needs, but the water line will be below that culvert, so we've been on hold. It doesn't make sense to put the new culvert in and then try and dig a water line underneath it, so that work continues. If you have answer any other questions, committee might have.
Mr. Sokol?
Just our overtime here. Maybe I'm jumping ahead, but why was March so high?
Snow and ice.
20-inch snowstorm.
We had a lot of snow and ice. The last item I wanted to discuss was the vacancy approvals, and there's been some discussion that more committee oversight of vacancy requests. But I understand that's going to be discussed in personnel, because I have quite a bit of information to go through in detail, but it's going to be...
But if you want those positions paid, you should bring it up to this committee now.
Okay. So,
You have
I have a lot of positions. to review. The
I thought this was only about the temporary foreman.
So I can review those. I was asked to bring all of them, is what my direction was. So okay. So here's a summary of my current vacancies across the whole department, not just Public Works. So the top group here are full-time positions that are pending approval. I just took some of these today that were recent retirees out of Buildings and Grounds. One of the positions that I'm being held up on filling is this new position in Parks and Recs. It's a newly budgeted position. So the county policy is that if a position is created as part of the budget, then no further approvals are done. So we don't normally do, and we haven't done for years, a intent to backfill through committee. So that position was done with the budget team, approved by the entire board, and it was at a savings of $28,000 per year, was what I had proposed, and was approved by the budget team and incorporated into the budget. So I have promoted somebody into that position, but I'm being held up because I don't have an intent to backfill, because county policy, that's a separate policy from intent to backfill. So
You want to take these one at a time, Kevin?
No, can I stop you? I thought the issue today was the temporary foreman, the 4 temporary foremen you want to move into temporary positions this summer and backfill their positions or not backfill. That's what I thought was being held up, and these people aren't being paid at the higher rate. Is that not what you want to do?
no, I'm getting held up on this one too, Kevin.
I don't know anything about this one. I'm talking about the construction people that you can't get the work done, or you need to get the work done.
So if I can skip down to that, but these are real problems I'm having right now. I cannot get this position approved. It's a new position. It was created as part of the budget. I eliminated Tim Benway's prior position, created a new position at a lower grade at a savings of $28,000 a year to the county, and I can't get that.
Did you bring it to a committee?
No, the policy is
Okay,
for new
there you go.
positions. Well,
I'm saying it's in front of us now. As far as I'm concerned, unless Frank Thomas has any objections, I remember that when that was discussed during the budget process, unless Frank has any objections, I do not object to your filling that position, unless the county administrator does.
No, I don't have, as long as we bring it through committee,
And as far as I'm concerned,
and I don't know why it wasn't brought through
if
Parks and
anyone
Rec
in the
committee
committee's got
today.
a specific objection, that now's the time to speak, but as far as
That-
I'm concerned, you can move forward with the filling of that position.
So do we have a
this position I
motion?
was
That was
discussing.
already approved through...
Well, the
Parks and
first
Rec.
This- we're in Public Works right now.
I want everything, I want them all to come through. We can have a resolution of the committee if you want. It's up to you, but I'm saying that if the consensus of the committee is, yeah, okay, nothing has changed, let's continue to move forward, fine.
So do we,
I would have made that recommendation a month ago on that position.
in the budget, we don't need to make a resolution.
I don't believe we do. We just want it to come before the
We want
committee.
it to come through committee.
Just to make absolutely sure that we fill all these positions, or that we're in agreement with all these positions, that's all.
I think it's, hopefully as long as it's reflected in the minutes, then I can get it processed through downstairs. Because they believe that they need an intent to backfill for this position.
I believe all they need is to go ahead from the county administrator.
We need the committee approval to fill these positions.
Okay.
And that's what we're trying to attempt to do
And
now.
I'll move that we fill the building maintenance mechanic position in Parks and Rec at the savings that was articulated during the budget process.
okay. Is that a second? Did I hear that correctly? So all in favor? I'm sorry, Jeff. Do you want to have,
I was going to discuss something related to that. Because one of the key elements is the ability to backfill due to promotions. So that individual that I've promoted vacated a grade 10 position in our Buildings and Grounds day crew. So at this point, I don't have authority I haven't been able to process a intent to backfill for that position because according to HR and Civil Service, the position is still occupied by the person I promoted under the new position policy. So there's going to be a round of promotions that is going to take me until next fall to complete if I'm coming back through committee for each individual promotion.
present them all today?
Okay.
That's what I'm saying to you, Jeff.
Yep.
Whatever you needed
Okay.
could
So-
Well, can you wait and do the 4 temporary positions?
What,
Can we just get through that?
okay.
Real quick.
Each, as I mentioned, with bridge work, we stand up a new crew, and the paving crew, we stand up a new crew. I have 4 full-time foremen. In the summertime, we add 2 additional crews that require foremen to lead. These aren't positions that are new bodies. What I do is I take an existing equipment operator, and I pay them at a higher level. So for the paving foreman, that has already initiated work. They've already initiated work. They're actually paving this week, and in prior weeks, they were doing coordination and review of projects and planning. That has been the case for years now, where we pay one individual at a higher grade to run that crew. There is no additional backfill on that one. Those are just one individual being paid at a higher level. The expenses are covered under our normal salary codes, which we finish under every year. We don't require additional funding, and we don't fund it out of a separate line item. This has been occurring for years on that position.
County Administrator?
I'm all right with these 4.
All right. then
Make a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make that motion that those are they 4? 4 positions.
Well,
4 temporary positions.
There's
Temporary positions as they're being appointed at a higher level.
Okay.
Be approved by the committee.
the one down here is more various by need. For instance, on the paving crew, I have 3 individuals that are light equipment operators that are really operating more complex equipment that we normally have a medium equipment operator on. So that's an immediate one where we want to pay them as medium equipment operators while they're operating the more complex equipment of the paver and screed. Those happen occasionally when we have personnel leave and I need to still get the work done. They're for short duration. They could be a week or 2 weeks at a time, or they may be intermittent as allowed in the contract. We used to call it out-of-title pay. Now we're calling it pay at a higher level. So those are things that occur on a regular basis, and they're usually immediate needs. And they've, for years we've been doing them automatically without any additional funding needed or additional approvals. So I want to make the committee aware of that occurs on a regular basis. I'd like to get committee authorization to do that.
Just made the motion. You can do your what used to be called your out of class pay or out of class pay
Temporary position.
as part for this year. Although, quite frankly, if we would resolve our heavy, medium, and light MEO issue, that wouldn't even be required. But we haven't gotten that far yet.
So we have a resolution to pass the 4 temporary appointments. And we have a second.
What I've listed here are categories for multiple appointments. So one is the paving foreman. There's 2 different ways I appoint the bridge foreman, okay? One is in the beginning of the season when he's not doing construction. I don't pay him at a grade 16 while he's not doing construction. He's washing bridges, I pay him as a grade 10. When we transition into the bridge work, we pay him as a grade 16. The last item I have on here represents many positions. It's not a single position that occurs throughout the year when there is immediate need to pay somebody at a higher grade. It is not just 4 positions.
Well, would we be required to do that per the contract anyway?
Yeah, I mean, those are the former out of title stuff. Nobody's ever questioned that.
I'm glad to hear that, because I'm getting questioned. So
You're only
as long as the committee
Excuse me.
consensus is agree.
I'm speaking. You're only getting questioned about the 12-week appointments you want to do for these temporary positions, where you taking
we
people
vote on
out
that?
of their
Did we already
position.
vote?
We had
You
a
voted
second.
on that.
We have a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now I'm going, good night.
Edna.
Be careful going home. I will.
Money Bolton on the way.
So that
If you want to go back up to the full-time positions, although we're not going to have consensus now to vote on any of these, there's so I have 11 vacancies right now out of 107 full-time positions. which really...
Jeff, didn't we approve the cleaning positions? Aren't you just rehashing stuff we already approved today? The
No,
cleaning
there's
positions.
additional ones in here. There's additional ones in
Why
here.
didn't you bring them up today? I guess I don't
I
understand.
did, I tried to during facilities, I did.
Excuse me, gentlemen, if I may.
Jesus.
Given that we do not have a quorum and cannot pass anything, might I suggest this discussion be taken elsewhere and we could adjourn this meeting?
We could bring these to personnel Thursday, can't we?
Can we do that? So we'll forward this to the personnel agenda for Thursday. Hash this out, get some resolution.
Well, let's make it, I would suggest that we are clear on this, because we just filled cleaning positions today. Now, there are other cleaning positions that are open?
This, I put this together before the beginning of the committee, so I listed all my current vacancies.
But what about the ones we did today?
Those are listed here, those are all my
Well,
current
then that's a
vacancies.
duplicate. We've already done some of these.
Well, I'm trying to go through the other ones. That's what I was trying to do.
Well,
So,
Make the
I
list
listed all of my
simple.
current, I listed all of my current vacancies, as of today. Some of which needed discussion, some of them just
Since
didn't.
we're not going to be able to act on anything, we can continue to meet, but I think it's very important that whatever your vacancies are that you're looking to fill, you could provide those vacancies to the county administrator so he can see them, so he can communicate with the people that he needs to communicate with. That would be really...
get them to me before Thursday, before personnel. At the actual ones that we didn't act on.
Okay.
That being said, if there isn't any more discussion on the matters today, do I have a motion to adjourn? End the meeting? Everybody go home.
Can't pass a motion.